Hello and welcome, everyone. Thanks so much for joining me for another episode of the New Construction Marketing Podcast. I'm your host, Anya Christianthan, and today is the 1-year anniversary of the podcast. Woohoo! So if you're watching or listening for the very first time, please turn it off and go back and listen to some other episodes, because normally the podcast is all about marketing ideas, sales techniques, and inspiration for new construction sales reps. But today's episode is going to be a little bit different. I thought, I spent so much time thinking about what should I do for the 1-year anniversary. I was going back and forth with all these ideas, and I thought, well, let me just make it an episode with my best friend, Susan Kim. So welcome to the show, Susan.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I thought we'll just talk about, Sue and I, and kind of give you a different perspective.
I think they're going to think totally different of you now.
Give you a different perspective of behind the scenes Anya. So that's why I don't want you to listening to this if that's your first episode, because it may be a little different. And just to give you guys some background, so I just got into Nashville this morning. I literally was on a 5:30 a.m. flight because I thought, it's going to be so nice. It's going to be 90 degrees in Nashville. I'm going to get in. I'm going to get my glass of champagne, get to the pool, do the whole thing. So it's 8 a.m. now in Nashville.
So that's the real Anya, 8 a.m. champagne.
No.
Just so you all know.
No. So, this gets worse because, normally, I do like my champagne, but not at 8 a.m. But I thought, it's the 1-year anniversary of the podcast. I'm going to be on with Sue. I would love to just celebrate, have a glass. So no problem. So I get to the hotel, I check in, and they're like, oh no, we can't serve any alcohol until 10 a.m. So, but to find out that you serve alcohol till 10 a.m., I had to go to talk to the manager downstairs. I called the room service and I had to explain to them that I'm not really drunk. And then there's an excuse as to why, I need a bottle of champagne at 8 a.m. And so now the whole hotel probably thinks that they have the biggest alcoholic on their hands. So no champagne, I have some water.
Oh, so they still didn't give you after you.
No, I know. I was like, damn it. I should have gotten some at the airport while I was there. But it is what it is. I have my gummy bears. If you guys know me, I love my gummy bears. So that's what
Are those CBD gummy bears?
No, regular gummy bears.
Oh, okay.
Just good old-fashioned gummy bears, sugar and water. So that's what I got for you.
Nice.
But anyway, you guys, to give you a little background on Sue. So Sue and I have known each other since college. So
correct.
How many years?
So I graduated 2005. So
we met 03
13,
or 4. So it's been a while.
2003. So 16 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's been a long time.
16 years and a lot of, fun, drama.
Never.
Chaos. We had drama once because I was not, Anya was the first to get married out of all of my friends, actually. And she was the first to get married out of our entire group of very close friends of, I guess we were all Bacardi girls in college, right? Except for April.
Yes.
So, she was the first one to get married. She was the first one to have a child. And I was kind of running around New York, and I don't think I threw you a great
No, you did great. No, it was good. And again, it's so surprising. I guess I never thought I'd be the first to get married out of our group. So that was weird. So we got married, I was 25. So it wasn't that young, but I think for this generation, it is kind of young now.
Actually, it was actually really young because I'm 36 and I'm still not married.
Well, you're engaged though, so congratulations.
I am engaged. Thank you. Yeah. Actually, that was one of my questions for you. I had a question for you.
Okay.
You're the first and youngest to get married and have children.
Mm-hmm.
Challenges, regrets.
So when we got married, so it wasn't like, I was never one of those people that I'm gonna, dream up Brittany from Vanderpump Rules, if you guys watch. Like she
Yes,
talks
yes.
about that wedding and like how she thought about being married. Like a lot of girls are like that, and I think they're more fantasizing about the wedding itself than the actual like partner. So I was never really like that. Like, I mean, obviously I had an idea like it's going to be fun, but I don't know. I never was one of those people that like wanted to get married, wanted to have children. I knew that I would be a really strong mother. Like I'm a Scorpio, so I have that like maternal, like mother lion, like I'm gonna rip you to shreds. So I always knew that internally that when I have kids,
I wouldn't want you to be my mother if you're gonna rip me to shreds.
well, like don't mess with my child. Like I will freaking rip you up. So I do have a very, very strong maternal instinct, but I never really wanted children. So, or I knew I would want to have children, but I never wanted to have
Not so
children
soon.
at that time, I guess. So, it just happened. Like, so Strat and I, actually, Sue was the one that introduced Strat and I in college one crazy night at 4 a.m. So
We can talk about that after.
yes, not for a public consumption, probably. But it just, was one of those things that it was like, bam. And, you when
Yeah.
So it was, we did date for a few years, and then, 24, I guess, we got our first house, and he ended up proposing the night that we settled, the first night that we spent in the house. So, we had I guess kind of a short engagement, because we got engaged in like June and we were married March.
That's pretty standard, no?
I guess.
I mean, I have two cousins right now. One got engaged in December. She's getting married July, and then I had a cousin just get engaged 3 days ago, and she's getting married in August.
Yeah, so I guess so it was pretty normal as far as the engagement.
I'm gonna beat everybody in my engagement probably length.
Yeah, how long? When's the date?
I mean, I got engaged October 2019. Oh, sorry, 2018. We're in 2019 now. And I don't know. I mean, I didn't even set a date yet, so.
Yeah. So, but whenever happens.
But I think because I'm 36 and my biological clock is ticking, I think that we're trying to go for the baby first, but it's not so easy.
Baby in the oven.
Yeah, well, that's not so easy. So any of you ladies that are listening and you're past 32, I would go freeze your eggs. I think that's the one thing that I should have done, and I regret not doing.
You talked about it, but I guess
I did. I did, but you know what? Truthfully, I mean, I work in the medical industry, so every day on a daily basis I see doctors, and I've worked in this industry for 12 years, so they're very honest with me. And going into their office last year and the year before, they always talked about, they were telling me to go freeze my eggs. And now this year they're like, Sue, to be honest with you, you're 36. There's no point in freezing your eggs.
Really?
Yeah. So surprisingly, they tell me not to waste my money. They tell me to just do IVF and have a baby now.
Huh. Interesting.
So apparently the eggs aren't as viable after 36.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, you'll put I'm sure Jim will get it done. So
we'll see. Hopefully
in the oven. But yeah, so Strat was actually the one with baby fever. Like when we got married, I didn't really want to have kids just yet. I thought like, oh, we'll have a few years. I think, now thinking back, like, I guess I didn't ultimately on my list, like it was to have a child before I was 30. So I ended up having the boys when I was 29. So I guess it was kind of some kind of a internal thing. But yeah, I wasn't all gone home and having babies, but Strat was really like, he wanted to have family. And so we were the first ones for sure out of all of our friends. So all of our friends were still out partying, and we had these twins in our hands.
Me.
Yeah, exactly. And like we went around and we basically like disappeared for a whole year because, we had twin preemies that like needed to be fed every 4 hours, and I was just like overwhelmed, and it was crazy. For the first 18 months, I was like, oh my God, like I thought I was going to go into mental hospital any day. So, But now looking back, I'm so happy that we did it when we did it. I can't imagine going through it now. So now I'm seeing all of our friends kind of like having their second child and are going through the whole diapers, not sleeping at night. And I'm just like, oh my goodness, thank God that's not us. Like, thank God.
What I'll go through in my 40s?
Yeah, exactly. Like, I just don't have the energy anymore. I don't have, I mean, I'm sure if it happened, it would, you make it work, but I am ultimately happy now. They're 7, they're self-sufficient for the most part. I feel like I actually got my life back a little bit now. So yeah.
Great.
How do you like my background, my hotel room?
It's great. How do you like my background? I'm in my closet.
I love it. Yours like closet.
I'm in my closet.
I got upgraded to.
Wow, you have a huge room.
I know. I got upgraded to a suite.
Why?
Not for my drinking. I'll tell you that much.
They probably felt bad that they couldn't give you champagne.
Right. No.
So they were like, let's just wait a second. Don't you have a mini bar?
No. I searched the whole place. Trust me. I've covered my ground. I mean, had I known that in Tennessee you cannot have a drink until 8 or 10, I know, still not clear on that one, I would have gotten some at the airport. But
speaking of Nashville,
yes,
I heard that the Nashville market's really booming. I have a lot of friends who are moving there from New York City.
Real estate market? Oh, really?
Yeah. I have a lot of New York friends that moved there or bought a space or as an investment property in the last 2 years.
Yeah. I'll have to check it out. Yeah, I think a lot of people from California too moving to Nashville.
Yeah, New York and California.
Yeah. I mean, it is Music City, USA. So I've been to Nashville once or twice before. It was a while ago. So I'll check it out, see how it is.
I've never been. It's on my list.
You've never been? No.
Yeah, it's on my list. I actually told my girlfriend and I do a girls trip. She's single. She's like 35 and single, and she has a dog, and I have a dog. So we usually just do like one trip for over a weekend, and we go hiking. Yeah, like random place in the U.S.
You're like such an outdoorsman anymore. Like, what happened to you? Like every time I see you,
well, because like, I'm so healthy.
Cooking, gardening, hiking. It's like, who is this person?
I know. Well, you know what? I'm not drinking anymore right now because I'm trying to get pregnant. So I don't know. I'm becoming my father. I'm gardening. Like, it's weird. It's really strange. One person that I'm like, I really dislike his whole demeanor and personality. I'm becoming him.
You know what? I'm the same way. I've realized that I've become my father, and he's one person that I cannot stand.
That's why we're friends.
Yeah, like I have the same temperament as him. So, and I definitely noticed that in a lot of his traces. Like, I'm kind of like, sometimes I'm a loner. So yeah, I definitely inherited a lot of his personality, and I'm like, I don't know if that's a good thing, but there are some good things. He's
your dad's sweet.
Huh? My dad?
Your dad's sweet, and he's smart. You know what it is? It's their generation, and it's because they're not from the U.S. That's why they're immigrants, and the culture is very different than we've grown up around. That's what it is.
Yeah, but so whenever I complain about my dad's stress, always like, well, you're like your dad. Thanks. Great.
That's awesome. Interesting.
So you become your parents, I guess, eventually. So I became my dad.
Yeah. And I become my dad.
Could be worse.
Huh. But anyway, so I wanted to go to Nashville. And my girlfriend said to me, Nashville, why the heck would I go to Nashville? And I was like, you don't understand. There's like a lot of restaurants. It's a really hip town now. Mm-hmm. Kristen Cavallari has her show there.
I'm going to have to, that's one show I have been watching. I feel like lately I've been watching so much TV because, for a while there, I was not watching really any TV. Now I'm like watching, Very Cavallari, of course, Vanderpump Rules, Beverly Hills Housewives.
Me too.
And I've been watching Summer House too. Kind of obsessed with
I don't watch that. I watched one season. I do watch The Bachelor, The Bachelorette.
No, thank God I've never gotten into that.
It's so good.
What about like the 90 Day Fiance or whatever?
Never heard of it.
What it's called? Some kind of.
Never heard of it.
Okay, so people always talk
I
about.
also I also love Flip or Flop
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. I mean that one,
and
but they haven't had.
Joanna and Chip Gaines show.
See, I don't like that one as much as Flip or Flop. I like the Flip or Flop better.
Which one?
I like the one with the Christina and Tarek
Okay, yeah, me
better
too.
than. I mean, I don't know. Joanne, I feel like.
Joanna Gaines actually, she made a lot of money off of that show.
Well,
Her,
they all have.
yeah, she wrote a book, and her book sold almost 1 million copies, and that's really, really hard to do.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean,
She sold like 900,000 copies.
that is crazy.
Yeah,
She has a whole like line now, right? Too like there's
she has her whole line in Target.
magazine. There's
Yep.
there's all types of stuff. So, but I mean, all of them.
She's the new Martha Stewart.
Yeah, exactly. But
which I aspire to be with my cooking art and
yeah, I mean, you're on your way.
and
You know what? You're like a Katie Lee.
Who's that?
Katie Lee. She was what's his face's ex-wife? Billy Joel's ex-wife, Katie Lee.
What did she do?
She was like a really pretty brunette. Not that that's the only thing you have in common.
She had her.
She was like a chef, whatever. So she.
Oh.
Yeah, you don't know who Katie Lee is?
No. But I am going to the Billy Joel concert on June 6th. I'm really excited.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Except you're going to be way better than, Katie Lee. So.
Well, it's tough with my new job, but I'm trying.
Yeah. So you guys actually, I meant to have you on the podcast before, just for your salesmanship, because Sue is one of the more accomplished salespeople, and I'm super proud of you, what you've been able to achieve. I mean, like, you've definitely taken the industry by storm, and like any company you've been with, you've always kicked butt and really outperformed. So what do you think, like, why
do you think that happens?
Yeah, why are you so good at it?
So I was thinking about that yesterday, actually. I was talking to my girlfriend Liz, who moved from New York to LA, and she was trying to get me to be a partner in one of her really good friends' skincare company. She owns VI Peel, and it's a medical grade peel that doctors' offices will use. Unfortunately, I didn't take the opportunity because I don't think that they can necessarily afford me at this point, because they're a small company. But she was telling me that the CEO of the company was doing a lot of homework, and she was, asking doctors about me. And she was like, you have a really good reputation. And I was like, really? That's so weird,
Why would you
I don't know.
be surprised by it?
Well, because, so there's two aspects of sales, right? I mean, I've always been I think I'm a hunter. And when I really started doing well in sales, I worked for a small company called Thermi Aesthetics back in like 2016. And it was like my real sales job. It was like my real first sales job. Because pushing prescription drugs is more like detailing physicians and just trying to get them to switch. I mean, I guess you're always selling yourself, right?
Yeah, you are. I mean, because you started J&J. Like, that was like your first like out of college, right? Like real sales job. But even you did sales with.
I mean, listen, I started in the pharmaceutical industry 2006, right after college. And I just feel like with dermatology and plastic surgery, it's different. It's a cash sell. And it's not, I was thinking about this because it's like my product that I sold the last 2 years is the toughest product in the entire industry to sell, because of like the history of the active ingredient, right? But I was able to grow it so big and so fast last year that they had to split my territory in three different ways this year. So I did leave the company, but going back to
what? How do you think you did it? Like, so obviously you have great relationships, right?
I was thinking about that. Relationships do matter, but I have to tell you, I think it's more about the person willing to go out and cold call and sit down and really know the product. Because, relationships can only take you so far. And with a product like that has such bad history, and, it just has a bad stigma attached to it, you really have to know how to sell the product clinically, right? So I don't know. I don't think relationships matter that much. So if I take relationships and everything else, I think relationships are about 20%, believe it or not.
Really?
And I know, yeah. And I know that when, especially in my industry, I know that when companies are hiring, they ask you, you know, who do you have your best relationship with? Who have you gotten your product into? Because, you know, when I came into my territory 2 years ago, the territory, which is rather, you know, it's large. It's New York City, Long Island, all the boroughs. It was doing about 200,000 in sales. And that's not a lot for New York. New York should be doing a lot more. Last year I finished over $1 million. And, you know, it was with people that I didn't have relationships with.
Huh.
So
how did you do it? Like, so what's your approach? Like, say,
yeah. So I'll tell you what my approach is. And it's my approach not only with that product, but with the other products that I sold. I think well, number one, you have to cold call. I spend every Friday just cold calling via email. Sometimes I'll walk in, but you know, in my industry, it's very difficult because the doctors are seeing patients during those hours. So rarely will they sit down with you. So I do a lot of cold calling via email, and I get their emails from database lists or, you know, other reps in the industry that I've networked with. But once you get that meeting and once you get that product in their hands, I think the most important thing out of all sales is follow up. Yes. And I think that there is a certain period of time, a window for follow up. And if you miss that window, you're done. You're not getting that sale ever again.
Yes.
So I make sure that my follow up is always within 7 to 10 days. I never miss that window. And if I don't get a response from them, I reach out again in 3 or 4 days. So the other thing is, I also don't waste my time with people that I don't think I'm going to get business from. You know, a lot of reps make this mistake where they go in, they know it's a big volume physician or in any case, a big volume buyer, let's say.
Right.
And they buy them lunch, they buy them dinner. They're just trying to entertain and get as much business and attention from that one individual as they can. But in reality, if they're not giving you that sale the first time or the second time, you're probably not getting it. So what I do is I put them on the back burner. I put them in my email database. And then once a quarter, I'll just email them, offering them the product or a training or something, right? But I don't chase them. I never chase clients. There's no point in chasing clients because you're just wasting your time. If you can't close them the first, second, third time you see them, you're not going to close them.
See, you guys, you can take that page out of Sue's book for sure, right? With the follow-up, I talk about follow-up a lot on this show, and you know that's something I feel very strongly about. And that's a good idea. So like prioritize, don't waste your time talking to all these people who are not your A people. So figure out who the A people are and concentrate on them.
And it's really unfortunate too, because, well, okay, let's talk about relationships now. Okay. So I think that once you do the follow-up and once you're in that office, then I think relationships are important, because then you need to start building relationships with people that work in that office or that company or whatever, right? And maintain that relationship, because more than likely, if you don't own your own business, you're going to switch businesses and you're going to go to competing companies or other companies that are selling products to the same, you know, group of people. So I think relationships are important that way, but without the knowledge, like clinical knowledge or, you know, real knowledge on your products, and without follow-up, the relationship doesn't matter.
That is really interesting, because I think, you're right. When you do interview for sales roles, it's almost like they ask you what's more important, to know the product really well or to know and understand the needs of your customer, which kind of falls into that relationship, I guess. And I think it's always been like the right answer is to say, like, to know and understand the needs of the customer over product knowledge. But what you're saying in your case is like the relationship is important, but the knowing the product is more important in your case.
Yeah.
And you're obviously the top of your, the top of your
Yeah,
game.
it's really weird. I never expected this to happen. It's strange.
Hmm.
But I actually was going to take a break from when I left my last company. I resigned in mid-February. I stayed on till mid-March for them, just so they could hire somebody and I could help train. And I was just going to focus on having a family and just take some time off because I have never taken time off. Um, and I mean, unfortunately, that didn't. I retired for.
That
I
lasted for
retired.
2 weeks.
I retired for about 2 weeks.
Yeah,
I just
Steph and I
had.
were talking about that, and I was like, it's not going to happen. It's going to be
Yeah,
back to work, Sue goes.
yeah, but I was having this discussion with Jim, my fiance. I don't know anything but sales. He's all about passion and finding your passion in life. But I really don't know anything but sales. Like I would be completely lost, and I just think naturally I'm just a salesperson.
Mm-hmm. You
So
are.
I don't know. I can't imagine sitting behind a desk 9 to 5. I can't imagine. I don't know. I just wouldn't be able to do anything else.
Well, since we talked about Jim, why don't you give a plug to his podcast? Because Jim's a big
Yeah,
fan
yeah. So I was
too.
gonna say, so this is the first podcast I've ever been on.
I can't believe
Um,
I'm going to
yeah,
rub it into his face that I took your virginity, your podcast
yeah,
virginity.
yeah. So my fiance has had a podcast for a couple of years now. I think when podcasts first started,
Mm-hmm.
popping up, it's called Quick Brain.
And it's
Um,
KWIK, right?
Correct, KWIK, which is his last name. And it's all about memory, speed reading, things that also, he has a lot of like life coaches and mentors on his podcast. And people really, really are drawn to him. He gives great advice. I have listened to maybe 3 of his podcasts. I know,
Well,
I just, you know what it is?
is it because like he's kind of like a walking, not right? Like, does he talk to you about that stuff or no?
Um, Does he talk about that stuff? I mean, I think he tries to incorporate his lifestyle into mine.
Yeah.
And I have changed the way that I eat. I look at all the food I eat now is like
That is,
organic.
I'm so happy with that because Sue, like every time I think about you, I always think
French
about
fries.
TGI Fridays.
That's so horrible.
And like
That's really horrible.
cheese fries, like
Cheese
what
fries,
the worst shit in the
wings,
world.
the
Like,
worst food. I mean, listen, I still eat a lot of junk food. Like I'm still eating the chips and the other day Jim loves these like cheese curls type of things, but they're organic, and like dairy-free cheese curls.
mhm.
They're amazing though. But he always buys them, and then by the time he's going to go to the pantry to get those bags, they're gone because I live off of junk food.
You
However,
do.
that being said, I'm completely now organic. I'm gluten free. I'm pretty much dairy free, and all the meat that I eat is grass fed, and all the fish that I eat is wild caught. So,
Mhm.
and I will tell you, I feel so much healthier. And I also cut back a lot on the drinking and the caffeine.
Mhm.
So I do feel a lot healthier. I feel like I'm in the best shape of my life at 36.
Mhm.
One thing I can work on is water, but he's also got me taking supplements, which I've never done my entire
Good
life.
for that.
So yeah, I mean, like he's definitely has a good influence on me. But if you go to his podcast, I mean, I think like what are there like 500,000 podcasts or something? I think that his was rated top 200
Yeah,
this year,
I
which
mean,
which
he's
is
kind of a
difficult to do.
yeah, he's kind of a big deal. So you guys definitely check it out. Maybe I can have him on the show sometime.
You should totally have him on the show. You
All
should
right.
totally have him on the
Yes,
show.
I will. You hook it up. Hook it up.
I will, for sure.
Yeah. So because I need to, you know what? And that's one thing we can talk about. And I know he had an episode on that, how to remember people's names. And I think like
Yeah.
the sales industry, especially
Yes.
being in the model home, people come in and it's like, husband, wife, whatever, kids, and they tell you their name and you shake their hand and it's like, you're almost
2 seconds
like,
later, you don't remember.
yeah, and it just completely kind of goes over your head because you're so concentrated on like what you're trying to do almost, which sounds
Correct.
terrible. But then
I
you're like,
know.
wait, what was their name? And then one of them fills out like a guest card, and then you're like, what the heck was their spouse's name? Like, at least,
Yep.
So yeah, it's awful. So
I will tell you, he teaches that stuff on his podcast, and he also does like seminars, and you can watch him do these seminars on YouTube. I will tell you though, it's pretty fascinating. When we first started dating, we just kind of moved in together and just spent the entire month at the beach. And I remember I was driving one day, and he was like, I really want to train my brain. So, and I haven't done it in a while. So he's like, think of like 30 words and write them down on a piece of paper. So I did write down like 30 words. I'll say the words to him, and then he'll repeat them to me.
And backwards.
In order. And then he'll do it backwards.
It's
and
crazy.
Then what's more crazy is that, a couple days later, I'll just shove that piece of paper in, like, I don't know, the car drawer or whatever. And then he'll be like, where's that piece of paper? We're going to the grocery store. He's like, where's that piece of paper? I bring it out. This is a couple days later. He'll just say back all those words again.
It's amazing.
It's interesting though. But what's most interesting about it is that he said to me, he said, I'm going to now dispose of these words out of my memory bank. So I'm not going to remember them anymore. And I'm
That's
kind
crazy.
of like, how
Computer.
do you do that?
When he's sleeping, you should see if there's an opening in his skull.
But he does. If you do listen to his podcast, he does talk about your brain being a supercomputer.
Mm-hmm.
That's weird that you said that, because that's what he does say.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Even because I follow him on Instagram now, and he was.
I noticed that when you said you made your bed. I was like, you make your bed? I never make my bed.
No, I'm surprised if you don't. So
Jim makes it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. They say that's actually one of the things for successful people is they make their bed. So I'm surprised that you don't make your bed. I used to never, but I do make my bed now. But he had a thing about like speed reading, how one of the tips, he said, don't vocalize the words inside your head. That's what slows you down when you're reading.
Yeah, but I find that very difficult, because when I read, I am saying the words in my head.
Right. So I guess if you don't, because you can still absorb, I know it's a struggle for me too, because it's like I can read the words, but then am I actually absorbing it without vocalizing it in your head? But that's what he says slows you down. So, but anyway, so yeah, I would love to have him on, because I think for salespeople, that would be good to get a couple of tips from him on like how to remember names, how to remember some vital pieces of information. So when somebody,
I'll totally put you guys in a text together.
Awesome. Thank you. You guys do quick and
become. So what happened to Steph? Steph is our other friend.
Yeah, Steph is our other bestie. Steph's got,
kids.
A birthday party to plan for one of them this weekend, and she just had a CPR class. That's what it was. So in the morning she couldn't do it. So next time we'll have Steph on too. So. But you guys,
are you going to be doing a slideshow of all our pictures in college?
Oh God, no. No. My dad still doesn't know that I was a Bacardi girl in college.
Really?
No, because I would like.
I mean, my parents don't even. My family doesn't. Well, I guess maybe they know. They haven't said anything to me. My parents don't even know that I got breast implants. So, I mean,
sure, yeah, it's like, oh, Sue grew boobs.
Well, I'm sure maybe they notice. I don't know.
I'm sure they know. No?
I don't know. They never said anything to me.
Yeah, well, yeah, so that was, I remember like sneaking out of the house in my outfit and be like, having some jacket over it or something. But yeah, no, those days are
But
done.
You know what, though? Don't you think that well, first of all, we made a lot of money in college.
We did make good money.
It was like easy money too, because you're just handing out drinks and getting people to have fun.
Yeah.
And, I have to be honest with you, I think that's pretty much the only reason why I got into pharmaceutical sales right after college.
Yeah, because you had the sales experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. So all of you college people out there.
Yeah, college people. I mean, honestly, like college is so expensive now. When I look back, because you were a history major?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was a biobehavioral.
Right? I
was a biobehavioral health major. I feel like, honestly, I probably could have graduated high school and worked and
got,
been at the
I mean,
same.
I can see both sides of it. Like, yeah, I think if you can find something that you like, yeah, almost like some kind of on job training is probably more productive than college, unless you're going to be like a rocket scientist, right?
Or a
Then
doctor or a lawyer
yeah,
or an
then
accountant.
yeah. But if you're going to be in sales, then you really,
But I will say, if you do have any college listeners, someone once told me when I was college, enjoy it. You live in a bubble,
yes.
and you truly live in a bubble, because once you are out in the real world and working, you kind of miss those days.
Yes, those Penn State days are done.
Yes, a
So
lot of fun.
lots
The
of
best
fun.
time.
There was the best times. Well, let's see here. It's coming up on 10 o'clock now. So maybe they open the bar.
Yeah, go check it out or call downstairs.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm bummed out because the pool is also closed until
But
Friday.
why are you there exactly?
So it's home builder tech conference. So I'm going to be covering that. I'm going to be learning all about the latest technology for home builders, which is exciting. So it's anything from CRMs to virtual reality, augmented reality, chat bots, and like all types of crazy stuff that we have access to now as salespeople to help us
Wow.
basically do our job so much better, because that's the biggest struggle with new construction is that when you're coming to the model home, unless you have every single model home built, people have really hard time visualizing what the house is going to look like, even like in relation to other houses, where it's going to sit, how the backyard's going to look like, and all that. So now we have the tools available to help us really, like, you just take your cell phone and you can project a real house onto the environment. So it's really cool. So I'm definitely excited to learn about what's the latest and the greatest, and I'll be sure to tell you guys all about it, as I always do. So, but yeah, I'm here till Friday.
How many episodes do you have now?
So let's see. I think I have 46 episodes. So this is going to be
Wow.
episode 47. Yeah, I'm coming up short on 52 because I really dropped the ball in November and December when I was like basically soaking myself on the couch in champagne because some unfortunate things happened in life. So
You're like the East Coast Heather Dubrow with the champs.
yeah, yeah, I guess so. I'm such a, was it Posh Spice?
No, Heather Dubrow
Oh yeah, but she
from
was
the
like,
OC.
yeah, yeah, I know her. Oh, she's not an OC anymore, but yeah, isn't that what they call her, like the Posh Spice of the bunch or whatever?
Oh, I guess.
Kind of.
I don't remember.
Yeah, yeah. Well, me and my champs, you know how I like it, so
Yeah.
that's the drink of choice. So. All right, you guys. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope this was not a weird or boring episode for you, but I thought it would be a little bit different from my bestie, to kind of see different side of me that you don't always get to see. And we'll return.
I was thinking, Anya, that we should do a girl talk podcast.
Well, I told Steph, have you seen that show? What the heck? It's on E, I think, the new show. There's like 3 girls. Steph was telling us about that.
The real estate one?
No, it's not the real estate one. It's 3 girls and they basically talk about celebrities, gossip, whatever.
I wanted to do more like girl talk. Like we'd have like, well, this guy did this, or like, my husband did this, and like
the dirty laundry.
yeah, like dirty laundry. I think, and then because I think that a lot of women go through that, and
You would have to be
stuff
anonymous.
like that. And
so people forget that we ever mentioned this new episode, new podcast coming called Dirty Laundry. 3 anonymous.
I just think it would be fun.
It would be fun.
I think it'd be fun to listen to, because I think that all women go through certain things, and I don't know. I mean, I don't really listen to podcasts, but I don't know if there's something like that where a girl has got scorned by a man or something, or she wants to do something. And I think it's just fun. I think it'd be fun
Yeah, and then you can relate
talk about
like,
misunderstandings.
oh, this is normal, or this is happening to other people. Yeah, I
Right.
okay. Don't give away all of our trade secrets here.
I won't. I won't.
Oh man. All right. Well, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you being here, and I will catch you next week. We'll return to our normal stuff, so that you expect.
Have fun in Nashville.